Welcome to Katie's skin analysis. I want you to take a really good look at Katie's skin. Katie is somebody that hadn't used moisturizer for a really long time. She used to have a problematic skin, an oily, acnetic skin. And so moving to California for her and not using a moisturizer felt great because she was used to having breakouts and acne and not being able to control it earlier in her life. So she got used to that feeling of dryness. Her skin was so dry. Her outer layer, her surface was just so dry. The inner levels, those layers were so dry. Hence her pitting looked more severe than it really needed to be. So the analysis around Katie's skin was a really important one. It was an important one because it set the stage for the treatment that I was then going to do. I had to break that dryness down, and I had to do that because I wanted her skin to be healthy. Hydration is different from nourishment. An oily skin needs to be hydrated. It doesn't need to be overnourished, but it needs to be hydrated. And being hydrated is important to the success of her treatment. So enjoy Katie's clip. Okay, so I'm looking at Katie's skin, and Katie looks like on her cheeks in the past, she has had some acne. She has a little bit of scarring there. She doesn't have anything active right now. But what she has got is she's got blackheads just on half her nose, on the point of her nose, and she's got blackheads just around this area of her chin. She's got some scarring here on her cheeks, but her skin is really surface dry. So I would imagine that the cleanser that she has been using is quite drying on her skin, and probably the types of products that she's been using. She hasn't been hydrating her skin enough. So, Katie, would you mind just telling us what type of cleanser that you're using right now?
I really don't use anything.
You don't use anything?
I've had oily skin my whole life.
Yes.
So I've been avoiding anything that's really, that makes my skin more moist, I guess, just because my skin's always been so oily. So really all I really use now is I use this really gentle organic coconut soap. That I use like maybe once a day because it's really gentle and I don't feel like it's been drying out my skin. But I grew up in South Florida where it was really humid.
Yes.
And then I moved out here like 13 years ago. And ever since then my skin's been drier. And I haven't had any breakouts since then.
So now, do you ever put moisturizer on your skin?
No.
Or no, never?
No.
Okay. So what we have here, Katie has said that, you know, she grew up in Florida. There's a lot of humidity over there, and she has now moved out here some years back. Found that her, it's much drier. She's not breaking out anymore. But what she is washing her face with is a coconut soap. That is, and she's not really having to use moisturizer on her skin. Now, I can tell you that because this is a place, these videos are for education and to help all you Estes out there and anybody else that is interested in learning about skin. Of course, that's my followers. Is that her skin is very surface dry. And what that means is that when you have a skin that's really surface dry, the skin is dull. It doesn't have that dewy, pretty look that we know where we can get the skin to be. The other thing that happens when the skin is surface dry is the skin becomes dehydrated, where you have those fine little lines. They look like a wrinkle, but they're really not a wrinkle. They're a wrinkle only to look at because the skin is so dry on top. So it's something that, it ages the skin when the skin is surface dry. So she's, I can understand that a lot of people that tend to be oily, they are afraid to use moisturizer. But the drier your skin, if things build up underneath, they can't get out. And we've seen that in numerous videos, Christina, in some of my other videos earlier, where whenever you have dryness on top, any oil activity underneath, it just can't get out. And what does that do? It makes your pores larger and things just stay underneath the skin. So what what Katie does have on her forehead up here is she's got some little bumps under her skin, and those little bumps, it is oil, that it's oil that's hardened, and it is now, she would have to have them zapped to have them removed, because once sebum hardens, you can't get it out. It forms scar tissue underneath, and then you have to get them zapped to have them removed. So that's what she has up here on her forehead. She's got these little bumps, but it's not anything that I can extract. The only thing I could extract on Katie's skin is a few little blackheads that she has. The other thing that's really important to note is that when your skin is so dry and it's starving for hydration, not so much nourishment because she has oil underneath, but you need to hydrate and still keep the skin healthy, is that moisturizers that are for an oily skin, they're not nourishing, they're healing. So because she has scarring and some scarring on her cheeks from previous acne when she was really suffering with acne, we know, or I know, that you can improve this area of her cheeks where her scarring won't look as deep as it does right now. And not that she has an abundance of it, but she has a little bit of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start feeding her skin some nutrients and really help with hydrating her skin and feeding it so that we can really improve this cheek area. So I'm going to really I'm going to do a light exfoliation on her skin. We're going to work in some treatment products and some of my Q-flavonoid, my retinols, my two favorite products that I basically use on everybody. We're going to work that into her skin, and you're going to see her skin get better over time. So what I will do is I'm going to bring the Maggie lamp over. I'm going to ask my cameraman if he can just zoom in so you can have a look at her skin right now and see, because I want you to be able to see in a month where her skin can be once we've started feeding her skin and she's got some more products at home that she's using on a regular basis for her home care regimen. I want you to see how much better we can get her skin. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to zoom in, have a look at her skin, and then I'm going to start feeding it and do a light exfoliation and start feeding it and working with her skin. Okay, so you can see here where Katie has these few little bumps up here on her forehead, and this is, as I said before, this is hardened sebum underneath that to extract them it's not going to work. Her skin is almost irritated on top, and that irritation on top is just because her skin is so surface dry. So she's got those little bumps there. You can see she's got the fine little lines, which is dehydration. She's got those tiny, tiny little lines here that's all surface dryness, very surface dry on her skin. And now we're going to move down. We're going to look at her cheek area. So we can see on Katie's skin up here on her high cheek area up here, which is kind of the blush line, where she's got some pitting, scarring from previous pimples. She's got a little milia here right by the eye in the corner of her eye, which we know once we start softening her skin and hydrating her skin, that one will come out. It won't take too long to come out, that one there. It's very close to the surface, but that's a little milia there right by the corner of her eye. And just really surface dry and some pitting there. And she has it on the other side of the cheek as well. Okay, so we've got some pitting on this left-hand side of the cheek. You can see the scarring from previous acne that she's had in the past, and that we're going to help correct and fix it all up. So so that's what we're going to be doing here today, is working on her scarring, hydrating her skin, and that's going to make a big difference for her moving forward.